everyone, it's Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation, and I got my friend Michael Ladano back to the channel finally. How are you, Mike?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. We
Excellent.
have got a new show concept for Rock Daydream Nation, and it's called Out of My Comfort Zone. We do an appraisal of an album in a genre of rock that we may not be familiar with. Straight off the bat, prog rock is not an area that I'm all fay with. It's an area that I'm exploring more and more. And the band that we're going to talk today is Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Brain Salad Surgery from 1973. So I only just started listening to this like over the last couple of months. Mike has been assigned the same task, and we are going to do a appraisal of the album with relatively fresh ears, out of my comfort zone. So, Mike, what was your dealings with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, if any, over your rock listening career?
I think the first time I heard Keith Emerson on anything, it was Rock Aid Armenia in 1990 with Ian Gillan, and he did the keyboards on Smoke on the Water. And it was really weird kind of keyboards for my ears. It was that beep, burp, burp, kind of like the synth orchestra kind of keys. And it wasn't to my taste, to be frank with you. The other two guys, zilch. I literally am coming to this with the freshest of ears. I have no experience with Emerson, Lake and Palmer outside of one brief period in my retail career at the record store when I was working with a guy by the name of Wise Man Mark. And Wise Man Mark was the kind of employee who liked to show up when it was convenient to him, and he liked to take a lot of mind-expanding kind of chemicals and listen to music such as, I think, Tarkus was the one. Is that the one with the armadillo on the cover, the
Yes,
armadillo tank?
that is the
He was
one. Yes.
raving about this armadillo tank album, and I listened to Tarkus once with him, and that is it. That's my ELP history.
There you go. Well, I've had some brief history with them. I did a show a couple of years ago with Bicyclelegs on Emerson, Lake and Powell. So that was like reverse engineering to get into ELP. And I've heard some other albums here and there. Fanfare for the Common Man is one that gets played in sports shows. I think that's their most famous track. But in respect of this album, completely zero. So we'll do the tracks. The first track on the album is Jerusalem. So what did you think of this track?
Well, Peter, I should preface this by explaining my listening history over the last 2 to 3 weeks with this album. I'd say I'd listened to it maybe 20 times in different settings. And the first listen was here at home, and it was baffling to me. I didn't know what I was hearing. So my first impression was cacophony. It was, what the heck am I listening to here? What are all these synth trumpets coming out of the speakers? I knew the lyrics. I was familiar with the poem, I guess, that it's based on. But the music I'd never heard before in my life. Second listen through, Jerusalem was the first track that was getting into my head. It has melody to it. It's probably the most immediately accessible track given my experience here. So I would say Jerusalem was the first one that opened itself to me. But I find it cold sounding in the production. I find it distant, corny. I'm sorry, folks. Like Peter said, we're outside of our comfort zone here. And, I thought, I like prog. Sure, man. Like, I've got a Rush t-shirt in my closet, and I have some Dream Theater CDs behind me. This is leagues above and beyond Rush and Dream Theater. I do hear things like that Styx and Queen probably pulled out of ELP at points of their career, but I found this to be completely new, a little bit uninviting. But yet intriguing enough that I would have taken a second listen even if I wasn't doing research for a show. You know what I mean? I knew
Yeah.
there was something there that was within my wheelhouse. I mean, I love great musicianship, don't I? So, yeah, I would say a good opening. Maybe a little baffling because this is such a strange and diverse album, and that is the only track that sounds like that on this album.
Mm.
But onwards we go.
Yeah, yeah. So I see this album and it's like the album cover. It's like you're opening it and you're going into something, and this is the first song that you hear, and it's like an overture. It's a hymn, it's very regal, and well, I mean the lyrics are William Blake, who was a very famous romantic English poet. The music is Herbert Parry, and the thing that you hear is you've got the organ work of Keith Emerson and the phonetic drumming of Carl Palmer. And it's really funny to hear. This is like a very special hymn in Britain, Great Britain. And when this album came out, it got banned on the BBC because they thought it was sacrilegious. It's held in that sort of aura. It's held in a very high regard. I love Greg Lake's very melodic vocals, but yeah, it's an intriguing song. You definitely want to hear more. So to me, it is the overture to this album.